Donald Trump right now. Do you know this?
No, I don't.
Because it's very exciting.
It all started with a game of golf, or so it seemed. Samuel L. Jackson, the Hollywood icon known for his sharp wit and commanding screen presence, found himself in a heated public exchange with none other than Donald Trump. But this wasn't just a casual disagreement. It was personal, laced with insults and accusations, revealing a relationship far more complicated than anyone had imagined. At the heart of the dispute was Jackson's claim about Trump's behaviour on the golf course. He didn't hold back, outright accusing Trump of being a cheat, an allegation Trump, of course, denied. But Jackson didn't stop there. He went on to say that Trump didn't really know him or understand what he stood for. That remark seemed to strike a nerve, igniting a feud that would continue to play out in the public eye. What do you think about this heated exchange? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and make sure to watch the full video to get the complete story.
They're trying to, look, between you people, don't talk to me.
Hey, you shut your face! If we want to hear you talk, I will shove my arm up your ass and work your mouth like a puppet. You hear me? You hear me? Cash bar.
You shut, bitches.
And here's where things got even more interesting. Trump claimed he didn't even know Samuel L. Jackson, a bold statement considering they had played golf together and shared mutual friends in Hollywood. So, was it a case of forgetfulness, or was Trump just trying to save face? Jackson wasn't about to let that slide. He doubled down, standing by his version of events and making it clear there was more to the story. This wasn't just a simple exchange of jabs between two public figures. It was a clash of egos, built on years of interactions and lingering tension.
I want to ask you about Donald Trump. You are in a...
Samuel L. Jackson didn't hold back when it came to sharing his thoughts about Donald Trump. According to Jackson, Trump simply didn't understand who he truly was, not just as an actor or a public figure, but as a person. Jackson wasn't just talking about fame or career, he was pointing to something deeper: his values, his principles, and the things he stood for. And in his eyes, Trump's assumptions about him couldn't have been more wrong. What really seemed to get under Jackson's skin was Trump's tendency to twist the narrative. Their relationship wasn't just a fleeting acquaintance or a single encounter. Jackson insisted they had spent time together, played golf, and even moved in the same social circles. Yet, Trump acted as if he barely knew him. To Jackson, that felt like a deliberate misrepresentation, an attempt to downplay their history or dodge accountability. But Jackson wasn't about to let that slide. He openly voiced his frustration with the way Trump portrayed their dynamic, calling it misleading and dishonest. For Jackson, this wasn't just about a petty dispute. It was about setting the record straight. He wanted people to know the truth about their interactions, no matter how much Trump tried to dismiss them. By speaking out, Jackson wasn't just defending himself. He was challenging Trump's habit of rewriting the story. And in doing so, he added another layer to a feud that was quickly becoming impossible to ignore. This wasn't just a clash of personalities, it was a battle of narratives.
One quick question about a little kerfuffle that you and Donald Trump are in. I just wanted to know, are you surprised that this has become a thing in the press?
Is it a thing in the press? No, it's not. Tell me it's not. I mean, really? I mean, out of all the things that need to be dealt with presidentially, he's worried about me saying that he cheats at golf? Or, that he doesn't really know me? Is that what the deal is? Wow, that's awful. Let me see. Let me fix that. Let me find something that might help me with that. This. Let me see. Can we get this on camera? Would that be a bill from Trump National? I think it is.
Why do you think he's saying?
I don't know. I don't care. Yeah, come on. He has to say whatever he has to say. He has to say. You know, it's one of those interesting things that he called me one day to play golf, not to play with him, but to play with a friend of his. And I went to play with that friend of his, and that friend of his turned out to be Bill Clinton. So it's like that. So I'm sure he'll lie about that also and say that he never did that. But I'm sure President Clinton can either verify it or ignore it, as he probably should.
Things took an even sharper turn when Samuel L. Jackson made a bold declaration. He was a better golfer than Donald Trump. For Trump, who takes great pride in his golfing skills and owns several luxury golf courses, this was like waving a red flag in front of a bull. But Jackson's claim wasn't just about skill. It came with an accusation that Trump often bent the rules on the golf course. In other words, Jackson was calling him a cheat. But here's where it gets even wilder. After one of their games, Trump allegedly signed Jackson up for one of his golf clubs without his consent. A few weeks later, Jackson received a bill in the mail for membership fees. Trump had essentially billed him for something he never agreed to. Most people might have quietly handled the situation, but not Jackson. He refused to pay and made it clear he wasn't about to play by Trump's rules, on or off the golf course. This incident added even more fuel to their already heated feud. It wasn't just about golf anymore. It became a matter of pride and principle. For Trump, who thrives on control and loyalty, Jackson's refusal to play along must have stung. And for Jackson, it was about standing his ground against someone who, in his words, doesn't really know what I'm about. The fallout from this only deepened the rift, setting the stage for even more personal attacks in the years to come. Trump isn't someone who takes criticism lightly, and Jackson's public remarks clearly struck a nerve. True to form, Trump responded the only way he knows how, by going on the offensive. First, he claimed he didn't even know Jackson. That's despite photos of them golfing together and a long list of mutual friends. For many, this was baffling. How do you forget someone as iconic and recognizable as Samuel L. Jackson? But Trump didn't stop there. He took a shot at Jackson's career, criticizing him for appearing in too many TV commercials. According to Trump, Jackson was overexposed and, in his words, boring. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. This was coming from a man who had spent years relentlessly branding himself through self-promotion. But Jackson wasn't about to let Trump control the narrative. He fired back, exposing Trump's denial of their friendship as a blatant lie. And just like that, their feud escalated into something far bigger than just a disagreement. It became a full-blown public spectacle.
Donald Trump is firing back at movie star Samuel L. Jackson after the actor accused him of cheating at golf in a recent interview. So in the latest issue of United Airlines Rhapsody magazine, Jackson claimed one of Trump's golf clubs charged him membership fees without his knowledge. The magazine then asked Jackson if he was a better golfer than the Donald, and Jackson reportedly said, "I am for sure, because I don't cheat." Well, Mr. Trump has responded with what else? A tweet saying, "I don't know Samuel L. Jackson to the best of my knowledge, haven't played golf with him, and think he does too many commercials. Boring, not a fan." Sorry. That's great.
Samuel L. Jackson didn't just call out Donald Trump. He made sure to remind everyone that they had been friendly enough to share golf games and conversations. And he wasn't the only one saying it. Mutual friends vouched for their past interactions, adding even more credibility to Jackson's side of the story. Trump's dismissal of Jackson as boring was especially puzzling, considering Jackson's reputation as one of the most dynamic and charismatic actors in Hollywood. This wasn't just a disagreement anymore, it was turning into a battle between two public figures, both determined to have the last word. For Jackson, it was about defending his reputation. For Trump, it was about saving face. But Jackson didn't stop at calling out Trump's misrepresentation. He went a step further, exposing details about their past friendship. According to Jackson, their relationship wasn't just a fleeting interaction between two celebrities. They had shared social experiences, played numerous rounds of golf, and spent time together in casual settings. This wasn't the kind of connection Trump could easily brush off as insignificant. Jackson even pointed to their mutual friends as witnesses to their past camaraderie. One notable name, actor Anthony Anderson, who reportedly saw their friendship firsthand. Anderson's confirmation added weight to Jackson's claims, making it clear that their connection wasn't just hearsay, it was real. What made this revelation even more compelling was the stark contrast it painted. Trump, who had publicly claimed he barely knew Jackson, was suddenly facing clear evidence to the contrary. Jackson's anecdotes about their shared experiences made Trump's denial look questionable at best and dishonest at worst. But for Jackson, this wasn't just about proving a point, it was about calling out a pattern of behaviour. To him, Trump's denial of their friendship was just another example of his tendency to rewrite history when it suited him. By shedding light on their past, Jackson reminded everyone that this feud didn't come out of nowhere. It was rooted in a real, if complicated, history. When Jackson first spoke out about Trump, he probably didn't anticipate just how far things would escalate. At first, it seemed like a few pointed remarks about golf and character. But once Trump became president, their personal clash was no longer just a Hollywood spat. It became front-page news.
To gauge a reaction. President Trump.
You just got that stare.
No, he didn't. That was my resting face. I didn't do it. That's like, that was that look my mom would give me when I said something that really made no sense. Made no sense whatsoever.
It's a real pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
As always.
It really is.
Thank you very much indeed.
You're very welcome.
Trump's rise to the presidency didn't just escalate his feud with Samuel L. Jackson, it completely changed the stakes. For Jackson, this wasn't just about personal grievances anymore. With Trump now holding political power, every word, action, and policy carried a much greater weight. And Jackson, never one to bite his tongue, wasn't about to stay silent. What made their feud even more intense was how Trump's presidency magnified public interest in their back and forth. Suddenly, every exchange, every jab, and every new comment between them became headline news. People weren't just curious about their past interactions, they wanted to know what would happen next. Jackson's outspoken nature, paired with Trump's habit of firing back at critics, turned their feud into a spectacle. It wasn't just Hollywood gossip anymore, it was a full-blown media event that drew attention from all sides. But beneath all the drama, this wasn't just a clash of personalities. It was a collision of two vastly different worlds, Hollywood and politics, entertainment and power. And with Trump in the White House, their feud took on a significance that no one could ignore.